Shepherd, 14 years old, barely moving. The groomer, a woman named Lisa in her 30s, knelt down. "Hey, buddy, what's your name?" The veteran's voice was quiet. "His name is Sergeant. He deployed with me twice. Retired when I did." Lisa examined Sergeant gently. "Matted fur, overgrown nails, skin infections. When was his last grooming?" The veteran looked ashamed. "Can't remember. Maybe a year. I've been meaning to, but money's been tight. And he hates car rides now. That's why I called mobile." Lisa started working. Took her time. Sergeant was patient, but clearly in pain. She cleaned his infections, trimmed carefully around his arthritis, made him comfortable. After 2 hours, Sergeant looked different. The veteran stared. "He looks like himself again. How much do I owe you?" Lisa closed her kit. $60, standard senior dog rake. The veteran pulled out his wallet, counted bills slowly. "I've got 43. Can I pay you the rest next month?" Lisa shook her head. "60 is what I said, but I miscounted. Turns out senior military dogs are half price, so that's 30. You've got overpayment." The veteran's eyes filled. "There's no such discount." Lisa smiled. "There is now." The veteran tried to argue. Lisa refused. Gave him her card. Said, "Call me in 3 months for Sergeant's next appointment." The veteran called her 2 months later, voice shaken. Sergeant had passed, peacefully, in his sleep. But he wanted Lisa to know that the grooming had given him 2 good months. Sergeant had walked again, played a little, seemed happy. The veteran sent Lisa a photo. Sergeant on his last day, clean, dignified, comfortable, and a note. "You gave my best friend his pride back before he left. Some people save lives. You honored one that was ending. Thank you for seeing a soldier when everyone else saw an old dog." Lisa keeps that photo in her van because sometimes the work isn't about making things perfect. It's about making the time that's left worth living. Comment Sergeant if every veteran deserves dignity. The tattoo artist was closing when a woman walked in. Late 30s, nervous. "I know you're closed, but I need a cover-up." Tonight, the artist, a man named Ray in his 40s, saw her hand shaking. "What are you covering?" The woman pulled up her sleeve. A name. Large letters across her forearm. "Jason. I got it when I was 22. Married him at 23. He put me in the hospital 4 times before I left. The final time was yesterday. I have a restraining order hearing Monday. I want this gone before I walk in that courtroom." Raymond looked at the tattoo, then at her face, bruising around her left eye. Fading but visible. "Sit down." He didn't charge her. Spent 2 hours covering the name with cherry blossoms, made them fierce. Not delicate. Thorns visible between the flowers. When he finished, the woman stared at her arm, cried silently. Raymond handed her his card. Wrote a number on the back. "That's the domestic violence hotline, and my sister's number. She runs a shelter. If you need anything Monday, or any day after." The woman took it. Monday came and went. Raymond didn't hear anything. 3 months later, she returned with another woman. Similar story, similar bruise, similar name to cover. The first woman had sent her. Told her Raymond no questions and charges nothing. Raymond covered the second name. Then a third woman came, then a fourth. He stopped counting after 12. Started blocking every Thursday evening for cover-ups. Word spread quietly. Women helping women. Raymond's shop became known for something else. A place where you could erase the past without explaining it. One woman brought him a gift last month. A photo, her and her daughter at college graduation. "I walked into your shop broken. You helped me walk out whole." This is what whole looks like 5 years later. Raymond keeps the photo at his station. Because sometimes art isn't about beauty. It's about reclaiming the skin you live in. Comment cover-up if starting over takes courage. The locksmith got a call at 7 p.m., woman locked out. Apartment complex downtown. When he arrived, she was sitting on the hallway floor. Looked like she'd been crying. The locksmith, A man named Terry in his 60s set down his tools. You okay? The woman shook her head. I'm not locked out. I need my locks changed. Tonight, my boyfriend has a key. He's been letting himself in when I'm not home. Moving things. Leaving notes. I broke up with him 2 weeks ago, but he won't stop. Terry's expression darkened. Did you call the police? She nodded. They said without proof of forced entry or threats, there's nothing they can do. He has a key I gave him. That's not illegal. Terry started working immediately. How many copies did he have? The woman thought. 2. Maybe 3. I'm not sure. Terry changed the locks. Deadbolt 2. Then did something unexpected. Installed a chain lock on the inside and a security camera above her door. The woman watched confused. I didn't ask for those. Terry kept working. The camera was in my truck. Bought it for my daughter, but she moved to a place with built-in security, and the chain lock is extra. No charge? The woman started crying again. How much for everything? Terry handed her the new keys, $200 for the lock change. Standard rate. The woman paid. Thanked him. Asked for his card. 2 days later, Terry got a call from the same apartment building. Different woman. Different floor. Same problem. Ex-boyfriend with a key. The first woman had given her his number. Told her Terry understands. Terry changed her locks too. Added the camera. Added the chain. Then a third call came. Then a fifth. Terry started keeping extra security equipment in his truck. Stopped charging for the additions. Just a standard lock change. Last month, a woman he'd helped 6 months ago called him back. Not for locks. To tell him her ex had been arrested. Showed up at her door. Rang the bell. The camera caught everything. His face, his threats. The police finally had their proof. She thanked Terry for the camera he installed for free. Said it saved her life. Terry still keeps extra cameras in his truck. Because he learned that sometimes safety isn't about keeping people out. It's about proving who tried to get in. Comment locks if protection should be accessible. The septic tank worker got called to a rural property. Sunday afternoon, system backed up. When he arrived, an elderly woman answered. Late 70s, living alone. Apologized repeatedly for calling on a weekend. The worker, a man named Dale in his late 40s, assessed the situation. Your whole system needs replacing. This isn't just a backup. The woman's face went pale. How much? Dale told her. She sat down on her porch steps. I'm on a fixed income. My husband handled all this before he died. I don't have that kind of money. Dale noticed the property. Garden overgrown. Roof missing shingles. Porch railing loose. How long you been alone out here? The woman's voice cracked. 14 months. My son lives in California. Says I should sell. Move to assisted living. But this is my home. Dale made a decision. I can patch it temporarily. Buy you some time. The woman shook her head. How long will a patch last? Dale was honest. Few months. Maybe 6 if you're lucky. But a full replacement you can't afford isn't better than a patch you can use. He spent 4 hours working. Didn't charge her. Told her the service call covered it. Left his card. Side, call me when it acts up again. 3 months later, she called. System failing. Dale came back. Patched it again. No charge. This happened 4 more times over 18 months. Each time, Dale refused payment. Just kept the system limping along. Then one day, a man showed up at Dale's shop, mid-50s, introduced himself as the woman's son. Said his mother told him everything. How Dale kept coming. Kept fixing. Never charged. The son was angry at first. Thought Dale was taking advantage. Then he realized Dale was the only reason his mother could still live independently. The son wrote a check for the full system replacement, plus every service call Dale never charged for. Told Dale to install it properly. His mother deserved that. Dale replaced the system. The woman cried when he finished. Said she'd been praying for a miracle. Didn't expect it to look like a septic worker who kept showing up. Dale still drives past her property sometimes. See her in the garden. Know she's staying in her home. Because independence isn't always about doing everything yourself. Sometimes it's about finding someone who won't let you fall through the cracks. Comment Patch if dignity means letting people stay home. He married her out of pity, thinking she was just a poor, simple girl from the countryside. On their wedding day, he sneered, "Don't expect anything from me. Our marriage is just a contract. After 1 year, we'll get a divorce, and I'll give you enough money to live on." She simply nodded, her eyes calm and unreadable. For a year, he ignored her, treating her like she was invisible in his own home. He spent his nights at lavish parties, surrounded by glamorous women, while she stayed home, quietly tending to her small garden. He never once asked about her life, her family, or her dreams. To him, she was just a temporary, inconvenient part of his life. The day their contract ended, he threw the divorce papers on the table. "Sign this," he said coldly. "Here's a check for $5 million. It's more than you've ever seen. Take it and disappear from my life." She didn't even look at the check. She just signed the papers, packed a small bag, and left without a word. He felt a sense of relief, finally free from the burden of his charity case wife. He immediately called his friends to celebrate his newfound freedom, bragging about how he'd finally gotten rid of the country bumpkin. A few weeks later, he was at a high-profile business gala, trying to network with the world's most powerful people. The guest of honor was the mysterious new CEO of a multi-billion-dollar tech empire, a woman who had taken the industry by storm. As the host introduced her, a familiar figure walked onto the stage. His jaw dropped. It was his ex-wife, looking poised and confident in a designer gown. The host announced, "Please welcome the youngest woman to ever make the Forbes billionaire list. He couldn't hear the rest. His world started spinning. The check for $5 million he'd so arrogantly given her was probably less than she spent on her shoes. He tried to approach her after her speech, his voice trembling. I didn't know," he stammered. She just gave him a cool, distant smile. "You never asked," she replied, before turning to shake hands with a group of investors who were eagerly waiting for her. He stood there, frozen in the crowd, watching the woman he had discarded command the respect of the entire room. He had divorced her for being poor, only to find out he was the one who was truly bankrupt, not in wealth, but in judgment. He had thrown away a diamond, thinking it was a worthless stone. He sent her countless messages, begging for a second chance, but she never replied. One day, he received a small package. Inside was the $5 million check he had given her, torn neatly in half. He finally understood. She didn't need his money or his pity. She had been building her own empire all along, right under his nose. He had been living with a queen, but his own arrogance had made him too blind to see her crown. If you believe that a person's true worth is never defined by their circumstances, please like this video and share it with someone who needs a reminder of their own hidden power. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that will inspire you. Thanks for watching. The dog groomer was cleaning up when a man walked in carrying a cat. "We're closed. Sorry." The man's voice shook. "Please. I found her on the highway. She's covered in oil. I don't know what to do." The groomer, a woman named Lisa in her 40s, looked at the cat. "Bring her here." She spent the next hour washing the cat. Special detergent soap, 3 rinses. The cat was terrified but stayed still. The man asked how much he owed. Lisa shook her head. "Nothing. You saved her life by stopping." The man looked confused. "But you stayed late, used your supplies." Lisa smiled. 5 years ago, my cat got hit by a car. A stranger rushed into the emergency vet, paid the whole bill. I never got to thank them. This is how I say thank you." The man teared up. "What happened to your cat?" Lisa pulled out her phone, showed him a photo of an orange tabby. "He's 8 now. Sleeps on my pillow every night." The man took the clean cat home. Named her Highway. 2 months later, he came back. Brought Lisa a card and $200. For the next person who brings in a stray, Lisa started a fund. Uses it to help people who rescue animals off roads. Because the animals we save deserve people who go the extra mile. And the people who stop deserve support. Comment stop if you've ever pulled over for an animal. The tow truck driver got a call at midnight. Car broke down on Route 9. He drove out, found a woman standing by her car. Engine smoking. She looked exhausted. How much to tow it? The driver, a man named Mike in his 50s, looked at the car. Where are you headed? She pointed down the road. 3 miles. I'm a nurse. I have to be at the hospital by 1 a.m. for my shift. Mike made a decision. Get in the truck. What about my car? We'll deal with that after I get you to work. He drove her to the hospital, pulled up at 12:50 a.m. She made it on time. She tried to pay him. He refused. My mom was a nurse. Worked nights her whole life. Someone would have done this for her. The woman wrote down his number. 2 days later, her car was fixed. She called Mike, told him to come to the hospital. When he arrived, she handed him an envelope. Inside was $300 and a gift card to a truck stop. You got me to work. I got my paycheck because of you. This covers the toll you never charged me for. Mike tried to refuse. She insisted. You helped me keep my job. Let me pay it forward by paying you back. Mike took it. Used the money a month later to help a teacher whose car died on the way to work. Because people who show up for others deserve to show up on time. Comment shift if essential workers matter.